Hello traders, Nick Shaheen here looking at Moderna MRNA ticker. One of the hero companies I say hero because they were first basically to market after Pfizer to bring COVID solutions and as far as immunity. So I'm not going to get into which has better vaccines or whatever. At least these two companies came to market with it. And this is a discussion of the stock itself. So on the way up, I have to admit that I was skeptical of people chasing it because, okay, great vaccine, but I don't think there's a lot of profit in vaccine in the short term. But then again, I'm not an expert. So let's just talk stock price. This is a stock without my markings. Somebody literally just asked me in the chat room, where are the levels? It's falling 5%. It's down X and whatever. So where are the levels that you see? So I'm going to pull up my colors first. And these were my notes before I looked at it. And I don't remember looking at it this week. So I don't know when I drew this yellow box. I do know that I did this somewhere up here saying it needs to break out a descending trend. And it never did. Whoops. You can just continue the line on down. Every support/pivot failed. Base 1 failed. Now it's into base 2. I can get a little bit more granular on base 2 without having to switch out of 1-day charts. Usually I have to get granular like into smaller time frames, say 2-hour charts or 1 hour or 15 minutes. Let's stay up here and let me talk to you about a couple of the lines I see. So my answer was a set of numbers, and they included basically what happened here. 95, let's call it to round numbers, 95, 96. That was on July 17th. That was a major reversal. You can argue that this was also a repeat of this time, but this is the last one. And then this one here, that was the base of this whole rally after a pretty significant drop. So let's call it 88. So 95 split it, 96, 88 split the difference. Somewhere in the middle is going to lie the truth. And how about this candle right there? So the base of this candle should be a buy it for another swing higher. That's like 93. So if I were to pick one value, it'll be either 93 or the stomach of that candle is a doji candle. So the stomach would be like 98. So if somebody's trying to swing trade it, that would be the place where I'd get long. If somebody wants to sell puts or put spreads, I would want to hide below that. The actual base, the breakout, was down here, 80. So if you want to call, let's take out the whole breakout, it's 80. When was that? November. Oh, okay. So this is the Pfizer pop and then its own pop a week later, right? We had Pfizer and then 7 days later, it did that. I think that was the 5th and the 12th. I could be wrong. Let's see. This is the 6th and 12th is right here. That could be it. So anyway, these are the levels. It all depends. So if I'm long from here and I want to get out, it's falling into a pivot zone. It's not a hard line in the sand. I drew a box and it's unscientific. So let's look into see if we can get more information on the shorter term. So on the shorter term, if I wanted to pick on something, it'll be this top and this bottom. So 93.5. I'm rounding up a little bit to 101. So it's so close to 100, and it's like the round number is like a psychological attraction. It's a magnet until they shrug it off. But you can tell that every pop is being sold. So if it can get up above 111, they can snap out of this descending channel that's going on right here. Otherwise, the machines will sell it. Usually on days like this, I have like a note, a bot in the chat room that says upticks mode, meaning don't fall for the upticks mode until you get a clear bottom. How does that happen? It stops making lower lows. And step 1 is to stop making a lower low. So you can see like a double bottom forming of sorts. And then you start seeing higher lows. And it's okay to continue to see lower highs, and then they come to a pinch, and that's the opportunity to snap out of it. So I don't want to anticipate every pop. It's like, oh, this is it, and then boom, they smack it down. This is it, they smack it down. So this is upticks mode on the 60-minute. I don't think I need to get any smarter than this. This is a 15-minute chart. It doesn't tell me anything more. And I would have to be really active trader. So 60 minutes tells me stop chasing the upticks until you see stabilization. So if this wants to serve as a base, because this was the rally and they just gave it all back up almost, then they should start making a U-turn right here. The bottoming is a process. It's not a snapshot in time. I think I've heard that before and I like it. I've borrowed it ever since. I don't remember when. So it is a process. It's not a right there, it happened. It shouldn't. Otherwise you call it a V bottom. Bam, bam. So stop making lower lows. Start making higher lows. Lower highs is still okay. And then you come into a pinch and you decide to go test it. So 110 first spot, 115 and 120. They're round numbers, I know, but that's what they are. Okay, so this is Moderna. I have not approached its P&L, its PE, if it has any E, its price to sales, nothing. That's on you. You can do your homework. I'm not a believer in companies that don't have anything to offer. At least they do. Novavax is not yet, not that I heard of. So that's a stock I have issues with. I'll tell you why. Watch this. I'm going to go to a long-term chart. Boom. What? It was 280, 300 once? No, it wasn't. It had a reverse split, so it doesn't get delisted. What is that? It's when they take the stock and they say, well, it's like under $1 now, so let's pretend it's not and split it up 20 times. So whatever price you see here divided by 20, and that's the real current price before the split. So it's kind of a way to stay relevant. And then they got saved by COVID, pretty much. So I don't like this one for that reason. The headline is still not there. I don't think they've had their own headline yet. Moderna at least has something to sell right now, and I think they're doing it slightly different than everybody, or they set the trend to do something one way, so they might have an edge there. Anyway, these are my thoughts on the stock, not the company. I'm not that good of it. Okay, so wait, this is Moderna on a daily, and you can like visually take a line and go like this line right here is automatically drawn by the machine, but it's not very meaningful. I should squeeze in to get, okay, so this is the more meaningful. Wow, it's still below. Okay, so let's talk volume profiles and maturity of a stock. I was going to end it right there, but anyway, what is this? Oh, Neo opportunity. Okay, so this orange line is called the volume profile's point of control, because it has had the most action for this period of time. From, I'll show you the period. It looks like March, April, May. This is the place where bulls and bears bought it and sold it the most. So these are volume bars down here. Everybody knows these. You can see spike. They tell me when things happen. These are the same volume bars. They tell me where they happened on the chart. They're really much more significant for me. They're actionable. So I can see, I can make three statements from this. One is this is an old price that still needs time to move up. And this is where it's developing the second line. This is where the two most busiest after this one. You see that? And so that cluster right here is should be good support. So that 80 was a legit breakout. So if it ever comes down to here, however it comes down close to here, I will be a buyer inside this box for a swing trade. So this tells me that the buyers and sellers love it here as they love it here. What it tells me that this up here did not have time to mature. Look, there was not a lot of volume up there. They're still down here. This is the sandbox right there, the highlighted stuff. It's called the value area. So look into these things. Volume profile, they speak volumes. What you don't want to do is have it come down to here, bounce up, and come down and lose it. Then they would become some sort of a wacky inverse cup and handle or whatever. But it's falling into supportive zones. Depends on where you draw the lines and how fast a trader you are. If it comes down to here, like 85 here, I'd be interested myself, even though I don't believe, I don't know enough to have conviction on the stock. Now, red blue is just a mathematical regression representation. So I think what is that, best fit line. So it tells me when they say reverting to the mean, they overdo it. They always want to come back to the mean. So if they want to come back to the mean, it'll be somewhere closer to here. That alone is not tradable. It just gives you a visual representation of where the channel is for a certain period of time. All right, long enough. Nick, if you like this kind of stuff, we do this all day, every day in the chat room. Start your year off right. There's a link below in the description. It's got a link to PayPal. Don't freak out. The PayPal transaction is for $0, and you have 10 days to figure out whether you want to keep it or not. It's not free thereafter, but it's pretty darn cheap. Email me if you want more about it, or reach out, message me through notes or whatever. But the only reason I have it through PayPal, not because I'm a shyster, in fact, quite the opposite. It's because I want to keep the shysters out. We have over 200 traders in the room. I want to protect my community. Plenty of trolls that want to come in, and if it doesn't cost them anything, or if they're not accountable, then they go in and wreak havoc and get out. So this way, if somebody whips out a credit card, they're accountable. They can't lie about who they are. It's a real person behind the card. Therefore, better potential trial periods. I don't have to deal with jerks, and we don't allow jerks in the room. I've only had to kick 2 people out in years. So